Heatwave flight detainments leave passengers passing out in boiling hot ranges. Europe is in the midst of an unknown heatwave with temperatures soaring across the mainland. Extreme temperatures have suffocated Spain and Portugal, with also hot rainfall set to grip the UK and France this week. At least 360 people have failed in Spain since 10 July and 659 in Portugal, where thermometers reached 46 degrees Celsius. In the UK, experts are prognosticating the hottest day on record this week as temperatures are set to soar to 41 degrees Celsius. France has also extended a red heatwave alert to further than a dozen regions, advising of dangerous conditions of exceptional intensity. And, as people look to escape the heat by flying abroad, ongoing field chaos has left some trippers suffering from the heat while staying for their breakouts. How is the heat dismembering passengers on breakouts across Europe? At Gatwick Airport in the UK, people were reportedly passing out due to heat after being left in the line at their gate without air exertion on Saturday. One rubberneck twittered that it was total chaos at Gatwick Airport, claiming temperatures had reached 26 degrees Celsius outside. Others said it was boiling inside the terminal, with passengers feeling bad due to the heat. Another rubberneck reported being trapped in a stairwell at their departure gate. EasyJet passenger Debbie Shipley twittered, "I would like to know if it's okay to lock 40 people in a stairwell. We're still than after we were meant to go at 5:55 a.m. Twitter druggies said the group had been stuck there for 2 hours. The field has apologized for the detainments and vexation caused to guests over the weekend, saying staff dearths were to condemn. It comes after passengers were left without full handling water and only 2 functional toilets on 14th of July when a water main burst near the field. During the extreme heat in France last week, passengers at Toulouse-Blagnac Airport forced their way onto a flight to Marrakesh. Due to depart on Wednesday evening 13th of July, they were reportedly left to stay in stifling heat without food or water until they learned their flight was cancelled, according to the French review La Dépêche. The exhausted passengers raided the aircraft and refused to leave. A substantiation to the event said the situation wasn't resolved until around 7:30 a.m. the coming morning. A flight to Marrakesh eventually departed Toulouse at 11 a.m. Trippers have also been left to the line in the heated moment at Schiphol Airport in the Netherlands. Lines stretched outside of the terminal structure with a delay to pass through security, reportedly between 2 and 3 hours. The staff has been handing out water and ice creams to those lining up in the hot rainfall. Suckers and canopies have also been erected outside to try and keep people cool in the ranges. How do you stay safe on the field during a heat wave? Gatwick Airport's website refers people to UK government advice on the red rainfall warning in place on 18 and 19 of July. Passengers travelling through the field are being told to bring empty water bottles through security to fill up at water cradles in the departure Chesterfield. In response to the recent field chaos, Heathrow is advising passengers to arrive no further than 3 hours before their flight. Trippers are also being reminded to check what they can and can't bring in their hand luggage in order to keep ranges at security moving. For those looking to get to London's airfields via public transport, numerous rail services have been amended, with Transport for London advising passengers only to travel if their trip is essential. Calendars are reduced, with smaller services running during the heatwave, including the Gatwick Express. Still, passengers are advised to check their peregrinations in advance before setting out, if they have to travel. With temperatures high in the Netherlands, Schiphol Airport has also participated some advice for passengers to stay in range. Trippers are being told to bring enough water for themselves and their families, wear light apparel and apply sunscreen if they've to stay outside the terminal. The field is covering temperatures and trying to stop lines from forming outside wherever possible. Luton Airport runway damaged in heatwave as seminaries and trains also disintegrated by surging temperatures. The transport clerk admits the UK's structure isn't erected for the temperatures the UK is set to see the moment as trains run laggardly, other rail services are cancelled, runways melt and seminaries are being shut, while people are advised there's a threat to life due to the heat. Luton Airport was forced to suspend breakouts because of disfigurement in the runway caused by high temperatures, with the heatwave gripping the UK set to get worse. The field said on Monday following moments high temperatures, a facial disfigurement was linked on the runway. All incoming and gregarious breakouts were suspended shortly after 3 p.m. on Monday. Departures were given the green light at 5:40 p.m. with advent resuming shortly after 6 p.m. Sky News understands that some breakouts were diverted to near airfields, with Biggin Hill among them, according to the Flight Radar website. The RAF also halted breakouts in and out of its largest airbase in the UK, Brize Norton, on Monday because the runway has melted, according to a military source. Amid warnings that lives are at threat, a public exigency has been declared by the UK Health Security Agency, and the Met Office has issued its first ever red warning for extreme heat. The heatwave is set to peak on Tuesday, after Monday saw outsides of 38.1 C 100.5 F, at Santon Downham, Suffolk, and an overnight high of 26 C 78.8 F, in Emley Moor, West Yorkshire. The dislocation taking place led the government on Monday to hold another exigency COBRA meeting to bandy the response to the heat, with Cabinet Office Minister Kit Malthouse taking the president amid review from opposition politicians who have said Boris Johnson has clocked off by not taking a lead on the issue. On Sky News on Tuesday, Transport Secretary Grant Shapps admitted a lot of our structure is just not erected for these types of temperatures, adding that it'll take decades to replace the UK's transport network in order to manage with rising situations of mercury. Trip detainments as tracks bend and buckle. Around the country, people are being prompted to avoid all unnecessary trips and advised of major dislocation to peregrinations by train and auto. Kevin Groves from Network Rail says speed restrictions covering much of the network were due to come into force from noon on Monday, due to the threat of tracks buckling in the heat. The network twittered that the extreme heat is causing the overhead line outfit that powers electric trains to slack. It added that the hottest road track reached 62 C on Monday. Network Rail twittered our hottest rail recorded history was 62 C, in Suffolk. Rail temperature can be about 20 C more advanced than the air temperature, causing it to expand, bend and break. Rail druggies have been advised of detainments, cancellations, and changes to training services amid the extreme heat. In London, on the Transport for London network, corridors of the Overground, Metropolitan, Hammersmith, and City lines were suspended on Monday due to the heat, with severe detainments affecting large corridor of the rest of the structure under its marquee. TfL has prompted people in the capital not to travel on its network on Tuesday, with temperatures of well over 30 C reported on the tube. Reduced services are running on utmost long-distance rail services, including Ulner, East Midlands Railway, and Lumo, and ScotRail and Transport for Wales are also reporting detainments and changes. Avanti West Coast, which operates between Euston and Scotland, via the West Midlands, has suspended ticket deals for Tuesday. Meanwhile, drivers have been advised to try to make their peregrinations outside the hottest stages of the day, particularly if they've aged buses. The RAC has advised more motorists will need help as buses heat and asked their guests to question whether they really need to make the trip in the first place. Granges are also being affected, with the proprietor of Cotton Barton Farm Rupert Shinner telling Sky that soaring temperatures are putting stress on both his creatures and downtime feedstock as the lawn dies back and eats into the ranch's cold rainfall fodder store. Sanitarium movables cancelled. Some hospitals have taken the decision to cancel routine movables and surgeries due to the threat to both cases and staff due to the prognosticated extreme heat. With ambulance stay times formerly on the rise, There have been warnings that effects will only worsen during the heat wave, with cases potentially stuck in hot vehicles for hours while staying for the sanitarium admission. The NHS's top croaker said on Monday that while the inviting maturity of NHS services continues to run, the situation was being covered nearly. NHS Medical Director Professor Sir Stephen Powis said thanks to the hard work and invention of NHS staff, the inviting maturity of NHS services are continuing to run despite the unknown heat wave. We know that some people, particularly the senior or vulnerable, may have been unfit to attend movables because of the hot rainfall or dislocation to other services, similar as public transport. With hereafter set to be as hot, if not hotter, than a moment, we're covering the situation nearly, and people should take simple, common sense way to stay well, similar as drinking enough and staying out of the sun. East Midlands Ambulance Service Director of Operations David Williams advised cases they may face an extended delay for an ambulance and prompted people to call 999 only as the last resort. Contingency support, similar to further call instructors and redundant working hours, has been put in place for ambulance services, while the president of the NHS Confederation said hospitals are going to be really pushed over the coming many days. Exigency services have prompted people to be careful when trying to stay cool after a 14-time-old boy went missing and was stressed dead in the Thames and 4 others drowned during the heat wave. School closures and sports days cancelled. Some seminaries in several counties, including Nottinghamshire and Hampshire, have verified they will close, and the NOI Tutoring Union has said it'll support head teachers taking that decision. Some 53 seminaries in Buckinghamshire have closed and regressed to remote literacy. In Norfolk, North Wootton Academy near King's Lynn has closed due to a low water force. Numerous others are taking contingency measures, with assignments cancelled and pupils being allowed to leave beforehand. School sports days listed to take place during the hot rainfall are also being laid over or cancelled. Some seminaries have said they will arrange staffing to keep spots open for parents unfit to find indispensable childcare at short notice. Shadow Education clerk Bridget Phillipson said children should still go to the academy. I'm sure that head teachers will be doing everything they conceivably can to make sure their seminaries are kept as cool as possible, that children are kept out of the hot sun and are kept outdoors as important as possible, she told Sky News. I suppose children have missed out quite a lot formerly in terms of their education, and it's right for them to be there. Some southern nurseries will be confining their hours on the hottest days following Public Health England's guidelines for supporting children in their early times. The maturity of UK seminaries is set to break up for the summer leaves laterally in the week. Some shops and salons around the country have also advised they will be closing or shutting beforehand. Unknown rainfall conditions have led to numerous weekend events, including canine shows and summer festivities being called off, as well as larger-scale events at the launch of the week. The British Horse Racing Authority (BHA) called off 5 meetings-listed institutions at Beverley and Windsor on Monday and each rainfall cards at Chelmsford and Wolverhampton on Tuesday, along with South Wales Jumps Institution. Meanwhile, water companies have been seeing unknown peak demand during the extreme heat. Householders are being asked to precisely consider their water operation, and not to waste it in the high temperatures. Water UK said the most violent demand was across the south of England, but that enough much all companies are seeing elevated demand at the moment.